Welcome to Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette, with your host, Steve Garrett, lifetime member of the National Corvette Museum, president of the Corvette Club of Kansas City, Missouri, and radio disc jockey at the #1 radio station in Kansas City for over 45 years. Here's Steve Garrett.
Thanks for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette, and the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. I appreciate you tuning in. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. Wheelcraft has the ultimate holiday gift offer for you. Buy a $100 Wheelcraft gift card, and they'll actually bump it up to a $250 gift card. And that's good for any Wheelcraft purchase, and it never expires. This offer is available now, and it's good through Christmas Eve. So visit wheelcraft.com and get your $250 gift card for only $100. You can listen to Corvette Today on all podcast platforms. You can also listen on your smart device. Just say, "Hey Google" or "Alexa, play the podcast called Corvette Today," and you're connected. Be sure and visit the updated Corvette Today website. It's CorvetteToday.com. You can also access everything there, including the Corvette Today merchandise store. You can also join the Corvette Today Facebook group there and sign up for Corvette Today emails, notifications, and updates at corvettetoday.ck.page. And if you like YouTube, you can subscribe to the Corvette Today YouTube channel. See all Corvette Today episodes on YouTube. And be sure and patronize our flagship sponsors of Corvette Today, MidEngineCorvetteForum.com, the forum that focuses on the new mid-engine C8 Corvette. Meet a lot of Corvette enthusiasts like yourself at MidEngineCorvetteForum.com. And Soul Performance Products. Developed and manufactured in the United States, the Soul Performance Products exhaust portfolio has been tailored to elevate the experience of the world's most exciting sports cars, including the latest generation of the Corvette. Soul Performance Products at SOULPP.com, the official performance exhaust of Corvette Today. Aerolarri Wheels, a true forged wheel with over 20 different unique styles to choose from for your C8 and wide-body versions of the C7, C6, and C5 Corvettes. It's an amazing value, starting at only $23.88 for a set of 4 fully forged wheels. And use the promo code CT111 and get $100 off your purchase. Visit aerolarri.com, that's AEROLARRI.com, and use the promo code CT111 for your $100 discount. And a shout out to Corvette Forum and CanadianCorvetteForum.com, welcoming Corvette enthusiasts from around the world. My guest on today's show is the Professor. John Kraman, the TV host of the Mecum Auctions, is back on Corvette Today to give us a preview of the upcoming Mecum Auction in Kissimmee, Florida, right after the new year. John, great to have you back on Corvette Today.
Hey, Steve, thanks so much, man, for having me on. Always love coming on and talking to you about Corvettes, other collector cars as well, and, of course, Mecum Auctions. Always really appreciate your enthusiasm and your support for what we do.
Thank you, buddy. You are always welcome on Corvette Today. You know that. John, before we get started talking about the Kissimmee show, let's give a grand overview of what we're expecting next year for the Mecum Auctions.
Well, it's going to be another big year. We've actually got our schedule posted at Mecum.com running all the way through October. Just to give you an idea of where we're going to be heading next year. We're going to be, of course, Kissimmee is the world's biggest, kicking off in January. More about that. We'll be talking about that. Las Vegas Motorcycles in late January. We'll be out in the Phoenix area at Glendale, Arizona in March. Back to our traditional Houston auction in April. The Spring Classic, the granddaddy of all Mecum auctions, Indianapolis at the State Fairgrounds in May. Tulsa in June. We're back to Kissimmee, Steve, in July for our summer special.
Oh.
It's a smaller auction, but it's a great auction this year. We're going back Harrisburg, PA to serve at the northeast part of our country in July. The prestigious Monterey auction in August, Dallas in September, and then back to Indy for a fall special in October, and the remainder of next year's schedule yet to be locked in. So we did 16 auctions this year, this calendar year. Still got a couple to go. We'll be headed off to both Las Vegas in a couple of weeks, and then off to Kansas City to end the year up in early December, of course, at Bartle Halls. Lots of stuff going on. The support not only from our customers, buyers, and sellers, spectators, but also from our TV viewing audience on Motor Trend TV and Motor Trend Plus has been extraordinary as well. We are so blessed and on one heck of a roll.
Absolutely right, buddy. Now, Mecum always kicks off the new year with one of the largest shows, and it's right after the new year in Kissimmee, Florida. Let's overview this Kissimmee show coming up right after the new year.
The shot heard round the world, my friend. Can you believe this year pushing the envelope once again? 14 consecutive days. This auction, Kissimmee, Florida, is the world's largest collector car auction, runs January 2nd through the 14th with a target of 4,000 cars. Now, you and I are having this conversation in early November. We're already, as of today, at 3,000 entries, and we've still got a couple of months yet to go as far as booking inventory. It will be another monster. Last year, $236 million in the sale of collector vehicles at the world's largest collector car auction. That auction last year contributed to Mecum Auctions generating $785 million for our fiscal year, which interestingly ends after Kissimmee. We don't run calendar year on the way that we internally post our results. So that's going to be our target for 2024. Those of your listeners that kind of pay attention to what we do, $236 million. We're looking at $250 million as a target. And obviously we're looking to exceed that $785 million in total sales that we generated last year.
Man.
Number one in the world.
That's amazing. And this is the 25th anniversary of Mecum Kissimmee.
Oh, man, who would have thought? Started as a small little auction in downtown Kissimmee and just slowly but surely and methodically has grown to be just this monster, massive event. We literally take over Kissimmee, Florida, which is essentially Orlando. Now, Steve, we're at Osceola Heritage Park. Awesome facility. The folks there actually have been updating the facility and blacktop and parking and arrangement, everything for us to accommodate us. A long-term partnership in place there. And it's really, Steve, 3 auctions in one. Of course, Florida, chock full of our demographics. Folks that love collector vehicles have the income to be able to buy them and then the nice weather to be able to use them. But it also draws folks from the Midwest and also from the Northeast. So we really got 3 big, huge demographics that want to spend some time in beautiful, sunny Florida in January. And they bring the kids, the grandkids, the family. Some go to Disneyland and do the attractions. And then some head over our way and do the car attractions. It's a win-win for everybody, brother.
Boy, that's for sure. And hey, Kissimmee, Florida in January, that sounds like a great destination to me, buddy.
Well, it is, and that's part of it. And some people will say that early January in Kissimmee is really the ideal time of the year to kick off the event that really signals and really tells all of us what's it going to be like in the new year. In other words, everybody, the entire collector car world is going to be looking at that to see how Mecum does with the world's biggest. And we kick it off literally right from day one. It starts January 2nd. It literally starts the day after New Year's Day. Oh, a lot of eyeballs and a lot of attention with the press and others are going to be paying a lot of attention. That what happens to not only the biggest event, but the first event of the new calendar year.
And how many cars are you expecting at the Kissimmee auction?
Well, here's what we do. You know, all of our auctions, Steve, we publish a number on how many vehicles. Now, that's positions available. It's a target. Right now, our target for Kissimmee is 4,000 vehicles. Make a little bit of a bold statement to Corvette Today listeners. I'm going to say we're going to get pretty close. As I mentioned earlier, we're already at 3,000.
Yeah.
Still plenty of good positions left available for those that want to get their cars entered. That's an auction that traditionally does extremely well, brings top dollar on anything from entry-level collectible cars, $5,000 to $10,000 cars, all the way up to multi-million-dollar cars and everything in between. So if you're thinking about entering for Kissimmee, Florida, it is not too late. In fact, the timing is really good right now. The next week or two, if anybody's thinking about it, I would heartily recommend get a hold of the Mecum consignment staff, get it entered so you can get a good spot and plenty of time for that entry to season in front of bidders.
Yeah, and I was going to say, it's not too late to consign your car at Kissimmee, is it?
Exactly, and that's a point that for anybody that might be considering it, it is not too late. In fact, I will say that really, we'll be booking entries up until when the auction starts. In fact, some people will come up during the auction and say, I want to get it in.
Wow.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't recommend that, but if you're looking for the best possibility to make sure that your car gets as much attention and the biggest price on the block, get it in early enough that you can let the Mecum marketing machine go to work for you and get that vehicle promoted. That's key.
That's smart. And, buddy, if you can't make it down to Kissimmee, we can still watch it on TV, can't we?
Absolutely. Very proud to say that we will now be going into our next year. We're going to be right along with the folks at Motor Trend TV, which is part of Warner Discovery on your cable channel. And for those that want to stream, streaming is Motor Trend Plus, and we will be kicking off 24 hours of live coverage over 4 days. And the TV coverage begins Wednesday, January 10th. But don't forget, everybody, once the auction starts on January 2nd, you go to Mecum.com. You can click the Watch Now follow the prompts to get on board to be able to watch gavel-to-gavel action. No commentators, but you're watching raw data, the auctioneer, multiple camera views of the cars, description of the cars, no commercials. We're running that gavel-to-gavel all 13 days of the auction, all completely free.
That's amazing, John.
Indeed.
Well, buddy, let's take our first break. When we get back, let's talk about the cars and the Corvettes that will be at Kissimmee. That's coming up next on Corvette Today.
We all know that wheels make the car. Wheelcraft's PVD chrome finish in bright chrome or black chrome will take your Corvette to new levels. And it comes with a 5-year warranty. Durability is a defining feature of the Wheelcraft finish. Their PVD chrome is superior to traditional chrome with a finish that is brake dust resistant and cleans effortlessly with soap and water. Wheelcraft offers factory wheel exchange for select C4 through C8 models, or they can apply the PVD finish to your current wheels. No matter what generation you own, Wheelcraft will transform the look of your Corvette. With every Corvette comes a unique story, and Wheelcraft has embraced this idea. When you purchase your new set of wheels, you receive a lifetime membership to the Wheelcraft Pit Crew, granting you access to your own page on Wheelcraft's website, where you can post pictures and tell your Corvette story. Visit our website at wheelcraft.com or call 833-639-4231. Arrive in style with Wheelcraft.
Stretch the life of your Corvette's paint with NovaStretch, the performance protective cover. NovaStretch masks protect your C4 through C8 Corvette from bugs and rock chips, and utilize stretch fabric technology and an innovative fastening system for quick installation, easy removal, and storage. Made in the USA for a tailored fit, the patented design and breathable mesh protects your Corvette without rubbing or chafing the paint. And unlike clear film or old-time car bras, NovaStretch provides full front end coverage, including the grille, keeping the radiators and heat exchangers clean and debris free. NovaStretch masks make a perfect holiday gift or stocking stuffer for the hard to buy for Corvette enthusiast on your shopping list. And if you're planning on going on the Caravan next year, a NovaStretch mask is a must. Visit novastretch.com and use the promo code Corvette Today 15. Get 15% off your purchase. Protect your Corvette with NovaStretch.
Are you ready to take your Corvette to the next level? Look no further than Classic Trim Customs. We've manufactured some of the most impressive Corvette parts on the market, from engine bay panels to splitters and side skirts. With over 30 years of experience in hydrographics, we've perfected the technique and use only state-of-the-art materials and equipment to ensure the highest quality and precision. Visit our website at ClassicTrimCustoms.com or give us a call at 305-258-3090 to learn more about our products and services. Whether you want to create a show-stopping ride or just add a touch of personalization, the sky is the limit with Classic Trim Customs. Let us help you create the Corvette of your dreams.
If you park your car in your garage and you cover it up with a car cover, think of all the moisture that's coming up from the floor. All that mold and mildew is attracting to your car, your interior. There's rust forming on the suspension underneath. You don't have that with Car Capsule. This is Wayne Carini from Chasing Classic Cars, and this is my 2020 Corvette. If you want to protect your investment, get a Showcase by Car Capsule. No dust, no mildew, and no rust.
You're enjoying the only current podcast on Corvettes, Corvette Today.
Hey, thanks for checking out Corvette Today on podcast and YouTube. It's the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. Wheelcraft has the ultimate holiday gift offer for you. Buy a $100 Wheelcraft gift card, and they'll actually bump it up to a $250 gift card. And that's good for any Wheelcraft purchase, and it never expires. This offer is available now, and it's good through Christmas Eve. So visit wheelcraft.com and get your $250 gift card for only $100. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me is my pal, John Kraman, the professor from the Mecum Auction, the TV co-host. We're talking about the upcoming Kissimmee auction here on Corvette Today. John, first, let's start and talk about some of the featured cars that'll be crossing the auction block at Mecum Kissimmee that are not Corvettes.
Right, and I just want to point out that the reputation of Mecum all began back in 1988 with both muscle cars and Corvettes. We know that, and of course they still dominate the lineup. But over the years, as we've grown, we have become more and more relevant with collector cars from all genres, all years, including both vintage and high-end European exotics. As to be expected for Kissimmee, we've got them. How about one of six, a 2004 Ferrari Enzo? It's only got a little over 3,000 miles. Unique color, Grigio Titano.
Ooh.
That's a nice color for kind of a silver charcoal. Nice name. But one of only 6 in that color. That is an A-list collectible as well. Going back a little bit to kind of the vintage exotics, 1957 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Roadster. It was displayed at the 2010 Amelia Island Concours d'Elegance, number 526 of only 618 that were built in 1957.
Ooh.
These cars are very significant and important in the legend and the lore of Mercedes-Benz. And then, of course, from the modern era, the Ford GTs continue to be really, really popular. We've got a 2021 Ford GT Carbon Edition, one of only 50 that were built. 660 horsepower, that EcoBoost V6, Steve, and only 18, not a misprint, 18 miles on the odometer. It's a brand new car that is a 7-figure car plus, as are the other exotic cars I mentioned. Gives folks an idea that it's not all about Corvettes and muscle cars, although that's what Mecum Auctions is. That's what put us on our feet, and that's what keeps us charging ahead today.
Man, that's amazing. Now, you've got some big collections coming up at Kissimmee as well, don't you?
Big time. Over 25 collections. Some of those are Corvette specific. In fact, leading the charge on our collections is an interesting group, Steve, called the Ultimately Preserved Corvettes.
Ooh.
From the collection of Dr. Mark Davis. I think you're going to be speaking with him.
Yes.
Dr. Davis is very well known in the Corvette community as one of the top premier collectors, an A-lister. He has been a Corvette enthusiast his whole entire life, and he is bringing 3 original documented, hence the name Ultimately Preserved Corvettes. One's a 62, one's a 67, and one's a 69. I'll let you talk to him and get into a little bit of depth about those cars.
Yes.
Another Corvette collection that's going to blow my mind is something that is called the Split Window Colorama Collection.
Ooh.
There were 7 colors available in that legendary 1963 Split Window Corvette. Tuxedo black, silver blue, Daytona blue, Riverside red, saddle tan, ermine white, Sebring silver. 7 colors. This collection has one of each color.
Oh, my gosh.
First time we've ever seen that at a Mecum auction. And Corvette collections, are you ready for this? The Corvette's #1 most popular make and brand at a Mecum auction, typically representing somewhere around the 10% range. So if we do hit our target of 4,000 cars, we can expect to see somewhere around 400 Corvettes at this specific auction. All generations will be represented.
That's amazing. Now, let's talk about some of the primo Corvettes that are not collection cars that'll be crossing the auction block. Have you seen some really good ones that we should be watching for?
Well, yes. And I say that because I'm going to try to contain my enthusiasm. How about a 1967 Corvette L88? Now, keep in mind, only 20 were built,
Ooh.
10 convertibles, 10 coupes. We've got a coupe coming. It is rally red with the red interior, only L88 that was ever done in that color combination. It was restored by the Neighbor Brothers, which are the premier top shelf, regarded as the top Corvette restoration shop down in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
This is a car that I would expect to see somewhere possibly approach the $4 million range on bidding, representing, Steve, which could very well be the pinnacle, the absolute top of the Corvette market. In other words, the best of the best of the best, the rarest, the most historic, the most desirable, the best documented. We put this one at the top of the list. We've sold a handful of those very rare 67 L88s previously. Again, expecting huge, huge money. Already getting a lot of buzz on this car, coming out of a serious collection out of Florida, but he's just selling one car, and with this much buzz and this much potential value, one is enough on this deal.
Can't wait for that. Now, tell me, is there a day or days that are best? If you're looking to buy a Corvette at Kissimmee, are there better days to come than some others?
Well, that's a really great question, Steve, because this is always a dilemma with an auction that's going to be spanning 13 days and running about 12 hours each day, by the way. We begin to get into a situation where how much time can somebody spend at a specific auction?
Right.
So here's what I say. There will be Corvettes every single day of the auction. Now, the early days traditionally have the more affordable Corvettes, and then we kind of rev it up a little bit on the values. But honestly, the car search is really easy to find. If somebody's interested in a Corvette or any type of collector car, you just go to Mecum.com, use the search feature, put in an entry that you might be interested in, hit enter, and boom, it's going to spit them all out. And that way you can kind of make a plan. It'll say the day that the car is running, of course, and then you can make kind of plans, because very, very few people are going to be there all 13 days. Traditionally, what we see people coming in on the first day of the auction, staying through the first week, and then it sort of refreshes a bit, and then we get a second wave of people coming in the second week. Generally speaking, like I say, the entry-level cars first week, higher-end cars the second week, but there are exceptions to that rule as well.
Gotcha. Well, buddy, thank you so much for taking the time to be on Corvette Today. I want to come down to Kissimmee and see the auction. This is going to be a spectacle, isn't it?
It sure is. And it's, as much as we love Corvettes, you and I both, lifelong love affairs with Corvettes that still continue to this day. It is literally a huge celebration of collector cars spanning well over 100 years of automotive history, all brands, all types. It will really be an extravaganza, and love to see you down there, my friend.
Absolutely. Well, buddy, we're going to take our final break. When we come back in segment 3, Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com is going to join me. We're going to talk to Dr. Mark Davis about the 3 Corvettes he's taking to Kissimmee. That's coming up next on Corvette Today.
Are you ready for a better insurance policy without the Corvette tax? With Agreed Value Protection, the value of your collector vehicle will never change. Plus, you'll save money. Get a quick quote at ncminsurance.com.
Hey, honey, are you awake?
I am now.
I can't sleep. Since turning 50, I keep dreaming of a red door and a blue door, somehow knowing there are only choices for retirement.
Okay.
Through the red door, we outlive our money. We have to rely on our kids. We're stuck on a fixed income. It's terrifying.
Yeah, that would suck.
But through the blue door, our money outlives us. We retire on our terms. Our kids stay our kids, not our caretakers. We make work optional.
Yes, that's much better. That's what I want too. But what do we do?
We call True Wealth & Company at 913-653-8783. They specialize in helping successful people make work optional. They're our fiduciary Blue Door personal wealth managers.
Hey, where are you going? It's 3 a.m.
I can't sleep. I'm going to check out True Wealth & Company online at retirewithtrue.com. That Blue Door is going to be our retirement.
913-653-8783. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Investment advice offered through True Wealth & Company, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Kansas.
VetFinders.com is the Internet's original Corvette classified ads website, with classified ads starting at just $25. And every ad runs until your Corvette is sold. If you're in the market for a Corvette, VetFinders.com has over 500 Corvettes for sale from all around the USA and Canada, and covering all 8 generations. Visit VetFinders.com, the Internet's destination for buying and selling Corvettes. That's VETTE Finders.com.
The Radiator Grill Store offers protection for your C8's front radiators and side intakes. They also carry front strut tower covers to prevent rusting and pooling water, all with do-it-yourself installation. Get 10% off your total purchase with promo code CT10. See the full line of products at radiatorgrillstore.com.
When you want to buy a Corvette, or any Chevrolet for that matter, get yours from Hendrick Chevrolet Shawnee Mission, located in Kansas City. Hendrick Chevrolet is the largest Corvette dealership and showroom in the Midwest. With a knowledgeable sales staff and Corvette sales specialists on hand, they'll help you build the Corvette of your dreams, and they ship nationwide. With Corvette certified master mechanics on site and a huge parts department with over 24,000 parts and $2 million in inventory, Hendrick Chevrolet is well equipped to take care of your every need. From sales to service to collision repair, Hendrick Chevrolet has you covered. Visit ChevyUSA.com or call 913-384-1550.
And now, back to the only current podcast on Corvettes, Corvette Today, with your host, Steve Garrett.
Thanks for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. Wheelcraft has the ultimate holiday gift offer for you. Buy a $100 Wheelcraft gift card, and they'll actually bump it up to a $250 gift card. And that's good for any Wheelcraft purchase, and it never expires. This offer is available now, and it's good through Christmas Eve. So visit Wheelcraft.com and get your $250 gift card for only $100. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. For segment number 3, Keith Cornett from Corvette Blogger joins me as we talk to Dr. Mark Davis and his 3 ultimately preserved Corvettes that'll be crossing the block at Kissimmee. Mark, first of all, welcome to Corvette Today.
Thank you, Steve. It's so good to be on your show and appreciate this opportunity greatly. I want to say hello to Keith as well and tell you both that I sincerely appreciate your enthusiasm and what all you do for the Corvette community. As you know, I've been a Corvette guy for 51 years now, so I'm a big fan of what you do, and once again, I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for the kudos. And for those of you that don't know Mark is a retired chiropractic physician and a real estate developer as well. Grew up for the first 13 years of his life in Proctorville, Ohio, moved across the river to West Virginia, and now he resides in South Carolina.
Well, Mark, they say that everyone's got that origin story. That first time I saw a Corvette story, I'd love to hear yours.
Well, Keith, it goes back a long time ago. Actually, in 1960, I was 5 years old. And my mother used to always love to tell this story about how we were driving down the road in a small river town called Proctorville, Ohio, on the Ohio River there. I was riding in the back of the Pontiac that we owned at the time, standing in the rear floorboard with my arms draped over the front seat, looking out the windows. And obviously, this was way before any seatbelt laws. So we're driving down the road through Proctorville, and all of a sudden she says that I just shouted out, "Look, Mommy, Corvette, Corvette." She would always go on to say that it shocked her that I even knew what a Corvette was. That was my first Corvette sighting, and as she would always say, from that point on, I've been sick about them.
That's a good way to put it, Mark. So when did you buy your first Corvette, and what was it?
I bought my first Corvette when I was 17, and I like to share this story, especially for the young people. I had a great mother and father, and my father was a very smart businessman, and he taught me a good work ethic. Mainly, he taught me how to work and save. So going back to when I was 5 years old and that sickness began about Corvette, I started working when I was 10 years old, and my goal at that time was to work and save as much money as I could so that when I turned 16, and got my driver's license, I would hopefully have enough money to buy a used Corvette, the car of my dreams. Well, it didn't quite happen, but by the time I was 17, I bought my first used Corvette. That was in 1972. The Corvette that I bought was a red with black interior, convertible, 1969, 350. It went on to prove that Corvette was everything that this kid had ever dreamed of, and then some. I enjoyed that car for several years. Now here we are, I'm 68 years old and 51 years later, and goodness, I've had a Corvette in my life ever since then.
Now, Mark, tell everybody how many Corvettes you've owned in your lifetime.
Well, my wife and I have tried our best to count them, and I think approximately 150 or so.
Wow.
That's an amazing number, Mark. Give some details, like what was your oldest one? What was the newest one you've had?
Oh, let's see, Keith. The oldest one I've ever owned, I had a 55 one time. Then I've had a 57. I've had several 58s, I think one 59, and then several 60s. And then all the way up to today, I've got a brand new C8 Z06 Z07 coupe that rolled off the assembly line in May, actually.
Wow.
Very nice.
I was going to ask you about the 1960s, since that was the first year you saw one. If you had gone back and dipped your foot in that water, so to speak, with the 1960s.
Yes, I have. And matter of fact, I remember my dad would tell me later in life, I mean, I saw that first Corvette when I was 5, but I didn't know exactly what it was. I just knew that it was a Corvette, obviously. A gentleman in that small town of Proctorville, Ohio, had just bought a brand new white 60 with red interior. And, you know, at that point in time, there hadn't been too many Corvettes built. So for a small town to have a brand new Corvette, it was like a spaceship had landed. So when I start to answer your question, when I started really going back and trying to buy some old, nice, original cars, one of the first ones I wanted to buy was a 1960, and I did.
That's nice. Have you always been attracted to original Corvettes?
Yes, I have. Steve, actually, I've been that way most of my Corvette life. I've just always liked the look, the feel, the smell of an all-original car. I've been that way even way before Survivor cars were even talked about or became popular. So that's just been my taste.
Yeah. So when you're looking for an all-original Corvette, Mark, tell me what you're looking for.
Well, number one is the miles. I'm known in some Corvette circles as the low mile original guy. So obviously I prefer a low mile car, and it always helps if that mileage is documented.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a car that's never been apart. The engine's original, all the running parts are original. Hopefully nothing's been changed, such as the glass, the chrome, etc. So that's my criteria. It has to be all original, other than such things as maintenance items such as the battery, tires, etc. I want the car to be whole and all original with low miles.
Sure.
And then also ownership. I want an ownership history, and preferably it's from the original owner or had few owners. The documentation is critical. I want all the paperwork and documentation there. To me, that validates that original car.
Yeah.
And then it's important, too, that where it's been kept. If it's been kept in a climate-controlled space, that's critical as well. I've gone upon to look at many original cars that were advertised as such, and then you get there, well, they've been stored in a barn or out under a carport all their life, exposed to elements, and you may have a 12,000-mile car, but it looks like it's got 72,000 miles on it.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So I want that to meet those criteria. It's always best if you can find it off the original owner, because as that car changes ownership, that seems to be when things get lost, such as documents and paperwork, and things get changed on the car or messed with. So that's some of my criteria.
Gotcha. Now let's talk about the 3 Corvettes that you're going to be selling at Kissimmee then.
Okay. Well, let's start with the 62, Steve. I can honestly say, with all of my Corvette knowledge and history that we've discussed, and all the shows and awards and everything that I've been through and to, this is the most original, most pristine, unbelievable, all-original first-generation Corvette in existence. First of all, it's the right colors. It's red with red interior. It has only 12,000 documented original miles. Everything on the car is original except the battery. It even comes with the original tires, which still have 1962 air within them.
Wow.
So it doesn't get much better than that, let alone it's been through all the judging processes at the NCRS and Bloomington Gold and various Concours d'Elegance events. And it's won every award that a Corvette can win from the NCRS and Bloomington Gold.
Wow.
And it's the only first-generation Corvette in existence to have done that.
That's amazing.
And I could talk about that car for the rest of your show.
And the pictures of it, especially with all the awards and everything you've got, the binders, your binders of awards. I see you flipping through that Mecum video, and you see the original keys in there. The amount of documentation you have on these cars is just amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And I'm a stickler for that, Keith. I'm just very meticulous and anal, if I have to say, about making sure all that is there, not only there, but chronologically arranged from day one and documented fully as we go through time.
Let's talk about the 67, Mark.
Okay. The 67, it's probably, and in my opinion, is the best 1967 427 Corvette coupe in existence as far as originality, provenance, documentation, all the things that we've mentioned before. This car is just stunning. It's a benchmark. All 3 of these cars have been used as benchmarks, by the way. This particular 67 has been used as a benchmark at 2 NCRS national judging retreats that they have every year in Dallas, Texas. And it was actually invited back again this year for the 3rd time.
Nice.
So that shows you how much of a benchmark this car is. It's a 427 390 coupe, silver pearl, black interior, black stinger, 32,000, all original documented miles, every number matching. It's got all the documentation, window sticker, protective plate, owner's manuals, etc. As you see on the Mecum website, it's all laid out and very well organized as well, like Keith said a while ago. It's just a very special car. It's won every award at NCRS, every award at Bloomington Gold. It's also won a couple Concours d'Elegance. It's actually won the Best in Preservation class at the Hilton Head Concours d'Elegance and Best in Preservation class at the Greenbrier Concours d'Elegance.
Wow.
And then to put the cherry on top, and this really is all I needed to say about this car. It's the only 1967 Corvette in existence to have ever won the All-Time Preservation Award awarded by the Historical Vehicle Association of America.
Man.
So that sums it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Last but not least, let's talk about the Silver 69.
The Silver 69 is special to me in the fact that I told you earlier in your show that my very first Corvette was a 69 350 convertible. Well, this 69 is also a 350 convertible silver coupe and with air conditioning. So 350 with air conditioning is somewhat rare. It's all original paint, chrome, etc. As the descriptions say, it's special in the fact that it only has 11,050 miles.
Wow.
So it's believed to be one of the lowest mile 1969 Corvettes in existence as well.
I think you tell the owner story in the Mecum video about the guy who bought the car originally, forgot to check off power steering, and then found the car a little hard to drive. So he went back and ordered another car with the big block and power steering and AC, and then just kind of put this one away.
Yeah, that's a good story because he blamed the dealership for not checking off power steering. But regardless of whose fault it was a challenge for him to drive around the streets in Florida where he kept the car at his winter home. So like you said, Keith, he turned around and ordered a 1970 as soon as they came out with the new 454 and automatic with air conditioning and all the options, and especially power steering. It was a little easier for him to drive around town. But, and key word here, but he still loved the looks of his Silver 69 the best, and rightfully so. So he tucked it away. He had a business in which he had a climate-controlled warehouse. So he tucked it away in the warehouse where no one could be around it, and always meticulously maintained and preserved that car. And then later on in life, it was bought about 10 years ago from a friend of mine and an NCRS judge. And he went on to take it to win every award at NCRS and Bloomington Gold. It's even been in the Bloomington Gold Special Collection. And then he also took it to McCacken, where it won every award there. And then since then, I've taken it to win a Concours d'Elegance and showed it at various events as well.
Just some great cars, outstanding cars. And I tell you what, the next owners of these cars, they literally have nothing to do with them other than show them and enjoy them, I guess.
Thank you, Keith. You're right. They are three very special cars that happen to represent the first, second, and third generation of Corvette. And I'm just very proud that they are low mile, all original, award-winning, beautiful specimens and examples of those first three generation Corvettes.
All three of them are amazing cars. And I like what you said in that video. The reason why you're selling them is you pretty much have done your purpose with the cars, and then you're on the hunt for the next ones.
Yes. And you know this. You're passionate enough, and I know Steve's passion is there too. One of the hardest things you can do is sell a car when you're this passionate. That being said, there are other cars that I have on deck that I want to do the same with. I want to validate them and document them and win some awards with them. So I've chosen to offer these to the public, and this will be the first time for each one of them that they've ever been offered to the public.
You've done some other auctions with Dana Mecum before. I remember the Red collection, and then also you had the McNamara Corvette. Can you tell us about those two?
Yes, I can. First of all, I just want to give kudos to Dana and his organization. They are top-notch. I mean, the best that you can be from the top down, and especially Dana. I've known Dana back when he was just a little guy going to some events with car auctions back in the 80s. When I chose to first sell a very, very special car in the McNamara Corvette, I didn't even think about taking it anywhere but to Dana Mecum's event. Going back to your question about the McNamara Corvette, that was a 1967 coupe, white, red interior. That was an unbelievable story that once again we could spend a whole hour talking about. That was and still is believed to be the lowest mile 1967 Corvette in existence. There is one that I know of that has a little bit fewer miles on it, but it was bought to race, and immediately when it was brought home, it was disassembled and prepared to race, and then it never raced, and they restored it back. But going back to this car, McNamara Corvette, it is the lowest mile Corvette 1967 in existence. I took it to Mecum Houston in 2014, where it set an all-time world record price for a 1967 Corvette non-L88. So that tells you how special that car was.
That's amazing. Mark, it's been great having you on the show. I can't wait to see these cars in person. Hopefully I can get down to Kissimmee, but I'm anxious to see how they do on the Mecum Auction block.
Well, Steve, thank you so much. And once again, I wish we had more time because I could talk about all these cars for hours. And maybe someday you guys can visit South Carolina and we'll talk more.
That sounds great.
I want to just say again to you, Steve and Keith, thank you so much, guys, for all that you do for us. It really is appreciated daily.
Thank you.
Well, as we said at the beginning of our conversation, it's people like you that are pursuing the hobby of being the Corvette owner for the passion that it brings, the joy it brings you, not for the dollars or cents that it might come from selling these cars. So thank you for all your preservation efforts, for these documentation, for loaning your cars out so other judges can learn about what it looks like to have an unmolested car. I mean, it's just an amazing thing that you put together here. And I urge everybody to look at the videos that are out there in your car. We're definitely going to be in Mecum Kissimmee to see them sold.
Keith, thank you so much. I really appreciate your compliments.
Thanks for listening to Corvette Today, and please be sure to tell your family, friends, and other Corvette enthusiasts about the Corvette Today podcast. And thanks to our sponsors. Wheelcraft. Wheelcraft has the ultimate holiday gift offer for you. Buy a $100 Wheelcraft gift card, and they'll actually bump it up to a $250 gift card. And that's good for any Wheelcraft purchase, and it never expires. This offer is available now, and it's good through Christmas Eve. So visit wheelcraft.com and get your $250 gift card for only $100. Soul Performance Products at soulpp.com, the official exhaust of Corvette Today. True Wealth & Company at retirewithtrue.com. Also, Aerolarri Wheels, get $100 off your purchase with the new promo code CT111 at aerolarri.com. And Hendrick Chevrolet in Kansas City at chevyusa.com.
Thanks for checking out Corvette Today on podcast and YouTube. If you'd like to contact Steve with ideas for Corvette Today, you can email him at stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. Garrett has 2 R's and 2 T's. That's stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. Also, sign up for email notifications at corvettetoday.ck.page. Follow Steve and the show on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Threads at Steve Garrett DJ. Thanks again for listening and watching Corvette Today.